the United stand. It is finally match day for Ruben Amorim as he takes on Ipswich away from home, his first game as Manchester United manager. We are all eagerly anticipating Ruben Amorim's first starting 11. We cannot wait for it. We cannot wait for all of your comments. Get all your comments in, all your super chats in, anything you want to discuss. We are here to react to Amorim's first starting 11 when it comes in and all of the pre-match thoughts. I am joined with Mordzs and I am joined with Ricky. Guys, I've just been waiting all week for this. I got out of bed this morning with a spring in my step. Just couldn't wait.
Nah, I'm super excited. I think even when Ricky came in, he was like super excited. Everyone's like, you know what? We've been through so much over the past year and a bit that it's finally time for us to have a bit of excitement to watch United play. Obviously, Rude kind of brought it a bit back. You know, that was a good feeling. There was a good feeling with Rude, but now it's go time. Now it's we're steadying the ship. And we're going on a title charge. No, I'm joking.
You're just getting carried away because City lost yesterday.
Yeah, that was a good day as well. It
feels like the tide is turning. It genuinely does feel like that. Obviously not getting carried away or anything. Ruben Amorim's not even played.
Sounds like you are.
When City lose 5 in a row, I get a little bit carried away, all right. I've been waiting for it for a long time. But trying not to get carried away, Ruben Amorim hasn't managed a game yet for Manchester United, but the signs look extremely promising. His press conference, his interviews this week got everyone really excited. It's a completely fresh start. We know it's a new system, which a lot of people are excited to see how that plays out with a 3-4-3. A new man, new ideas, is Ineos's guy. And Ricky, from what you've heard so far, I know he's not managed yet, but from what you've heard and what you've listened to, what are your thoughts?
I love listening to the guy. So he seems so intelligent, laid back. He's got his own plan of what he wants, how he wants to play, and he's said steadfastly that is how we're going to play, no matter what. You know, the play. Somebody asked him I can't remember if it was Gary Neville, but somebody asked him a question. You know, will you not perhaps have to fit your system to the players that you've got? And he said, there's only one way, or the highway, basically, and it's the way we want to do it, and the players have got to play how we want them to play. And I can't wait to see it in action.
Did you see the interview next to the Eriksen one that he did with Gary Neville, where he said you've got to have the players and you've got to have the recruitment, and Ruben Amorim was like, it's my way or no way.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take that risk and I'm going to play, and if they can't do it, then we'll find players that can. But that's the way he wants to play. He's bigged up his squad a lot. He's talked about individual players, which we're going to talk about a little bit further on into the show. But just to bring in some breaking news to start the show with and get your reaction to, we are hearing that Lisandro Martinez is not in the squad. He's not made it through injury. Obviously, he got sent away from Argentina through injury, so he is not available. Any initial reactions to that?
Oof.
Sounds to me like if you don't count Luke Shaw as a centre-back, apart from the fact that he might not be fit to start anyway, Luke Shaw, sounds like we've only got 3 centre-backs fit.
Well, Ruben Amorim has said that Luke Shaw will not be able to play wing-back yet in this system because of his injuries.
So he would be playing as a centre-back?
He will be playing as a centre-back,
Is he fit to start, though? That's the next question.
What we have heard for United Menace on X, who has been very, very good surrounding injuries and team news, he was the one that brought that Lisandro Martinez is not fit enough to play, is that Luke Shaw, Lenny Yoro and Kobbie Mainoo are all fit enough to play.
Right.
So don't know if that means start. I've heard that Mason Mount and Lenny Yoro definitely fit enough to start.
Yeah.
Kobbie Mainoo and Luke Shaw are fit enough to play. Whether they start, we don't know. And Harry Maguire, we heard, was 50-50 on making it. So he's nearly back. He's nearly back.
Is Lindelof out?
Lindelof's injured, yeah. He got injured on international duty. So interesting stuff. I mean, this system relies on defenders not having Lisandro Martinez in there. I mean, Ricky, we've seen what you predicted 11 would be and your predicted 11.
Yeah.
Do you think it will be Luke Shaw starting, or do you reckon it will be Johnny Evans on that side?
Obviously, we don't know for certain that Luke Shaw's going to be fit to start. If he's fit to start, I think he'll start with Evans to the right, De Ligt in the middle, and Shaw to the left. And
Oscar's just put in the chat, and I think it's a really good comment. Can see Yoro and Shaw both playing 45 minutes. Obviously, both not maybe 100% can do the whole game. Yoro, we've heard, is fully fit. It's just he's been out injured for a long time. It's a lot to ask someone to play a full game after that, especially he's not played a Premier League game before. It's a lot of trust as well to show into him, despite how good we think he's going to be. Shaw again has been injured for nearly a year, if you don't count that game he came back for the Euros, really. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, you might see Adalo or Mazraoui slot in there. We don't know how Amorim's going to do it. We will only know when we get the team news. But this system relies on defenders, and thank God we've got a depth of them. But we're still a little bit on the edge here, and it shows how important they're going to be to this system.
Yeah, and one thing I will say is kind of good that we do play with 3 centre-backs in the situation that we're in now, because it kind of relieves a bit of the pressure on all 3 of them. Whoever the 3 are, it relieves a little bit of pressure just because they're gonna have a lot more cover,
got more support.
More support. Usually, when it's just 2 centre backs, you can get caught off, sometimes. And well, naturally, you've got another player next to you. You just a bit more, like you said, a bit more cover, a bit more support. So that could probably benefit them a lot, especially if it is Luke Shaw and Lenny Europe, 2 players come back from injury. Yeah, they say they are fit, but when you haven't played
for ages, you're not match fit, are you?
Yeah, you ain't match fit. You haven't played a proper game of football in a long time. It's completely different. So, yeah, hopefully the fact that we are playing 3 centre-backs will probably help them a little bit more as well.
You've got to also add to that, though, that when Luke Shaw came back and played a game, he played in the European Championship final, so he can play against Ipswich away, can't he?
Yeah, true.
Surely.
Also, I don't know if you guys have heard yet, but Tyrone Malacia is in the squad.
Right.
Yeah, I heard about that.
After a long time of being injured. I mean, Ricky, I really don't expect him to start. But it does feel like it's sort of a fresh start for everybody now. I mean, a lot of people had written Tyrone Malacia off. There's other players in the squad that people think should go. And, these players still might go in the summer. But it does feel like Ruben Amorim is giving everyone that clean slate and he's saying, look, I believe in you, I believe in this squad, but you've got to prove it. And then Ruben Amorim will assess. He's got to take over the squad midway through a season. So everybody's got an opportunity now, haven't they?
Definitely. And I think, I don't know whether there's a chance that Malacia might even start if we need to use Luke Shaw as a centre back, and then he wants to use. He's actually said in an interview that he wants to start, as you quite rightly said, Beth. You said it'd be full backs that he uses as his wing backs to start with. And is there a chance that Malacia might start? I know he's yet another one who maybe can't complete a full game, but we've got a few of those. So does it really matter if we start with one who has to come off at half time?
One of them's going to have to start.
Yeah,
someone's going to have to start. Yeah.
Can I just say as well, obviously not going for anyone, but when Goldbridge was saying he plays wingers as his wing backs, yeah, okay, it's Sporting. He did do that, especially when he's just with the squad that he's just left.
Yeah.
But when he went to Sporting originally, he started off with full backs as his wing backs. I knew he wasn't going to come into the Premier League and start
We
off.
haven't seen the starting lineup yet, Beth.
Okay,
we know he said it.
We know he said it.
Let's wait and see.
I would say there might be one. Yeah. I said there might be one, like an Anthony or an Ahmad potentially, but the other one will be a fullback. I would be gobsmacked, which I said on the show originally, if I opened the starting 11 today and it was Rashford and Garnacho started as wing backs. I would absolutely be gobsmacked.
Be gobsmacked. So would I. If either of them do, I'd be amazed.
Yeah.
I mean, what was interesting, what Ruben Amorim did say, and we'll get some comments in a second, is he was speaking about Marcus Rashford, actually, a big name, and he said that Rashford's been training well and he can play in 3 of the forward positions.
3 of the forward positions.
So I think he means
the front.
He meant across the front 3. So he means striker or them 2 positions in behind, which again tells me straight off the bat he will not be a wing back in this system, which I think we all knew.
My thing with the whole wing back situation is, naturally, none of those players have played wing back anyway. Maybe they might play for previous clubs, but in recent times, none of them have played as a wing back. So whoever plays there is just going to be the player who adapts the best. Whether it's Dalot, Mazraoui, Ahmad, Anthony, it could be Garnacho, it could be any of them. Whoever adapts the best to that position is the player who's going to play there. He's not going to say, even though you've adapted the best, you're a winger, and I don't usually use wingers. Why would he say that? He's just going to pick the player
that's playing the best.
They're playing the best there. That's what makes sense. So it could be Malacia. He could. I know he's been training all week with Ruben because some of the players have been on international break. So that could be a factor as well. But yeah, it's literally whoever adapts the best. If it's Anthony, I know Anthony's been playing there. He's been training there as well. So it could be Anthony as well today. It could be any of them. But whoever adapts the best is the player who's going to play.
I would be really shocked if it wasn't Mazraoui and Dalot in them positions today. I'd be really shocked. Although it has been said that he likes a left footer on the left side. Dalot and Mazraoui have both played there pretty well, to be fair, for Manchester United in the past. I'd be shocked if it wasn't them 2, but like you said, he has been training with Marcia all week and he is left-footed. So we'll see how it goes. Everyone get your comments in and your predictions. Also, another thing that came in this morning, which again, he's promising for the youth team. We all know about the 16-year-old centre-back that he included in training in the week. He's actually included in his matchday squad to face Ipswich Town. Godwill Kukonke is included in his matchday squad. 16 years of age. Centre-back. Centre-back.
Yeah. He's tall as well. He's a big guy.
Yeah. Ruben Amorim, straight away, he's had him in training, straight away in the matchday squad. He clearly rates him. We know he's not afraid to believe in youth. He's done that at Sporting. He's done that wherever he's gone. Very different in Manchester United, where there's a lot on the line. I'm not saying there's not other clubs, but we know the Premier League, every game that you play is a tough one. I mean, you've seen that. Spurs got beat at home to Ipswich and then beat Manchester City 4-0 in their own back garden. Like, the Premier League is crazy, so every game you've got to be completely on it. But I think the youth players will see that and it'll light a fire in them to think, you know what, I can get a chance under this new manager. Early doors as well. And
the fact that he's centre-back, we probably need him anyway, because our centre-back options are very thin. Considering after next season, we don't know what Johnny Evans is situated. He might even retire. Maguire's been injured so far. We don't even know who the other centre-backs are really going to be. So he's probably thinking, Ruben's probably thinking, you know what, I've got this young 16-year-old who's clearly playing above his age. I think he's already played an under-21s game at 16 years old. So give him a few years. Lenny Yoro's 18. So give him a couple of years, but by the time he's 18, 19, he could be a first-team player. So it makes sense for him to bring him to the team early.
Yeah, it's exciting. Got a couple chats in here. Rocket Game says, most hyped I've been for a game in a very long time. Anand Pillai says, Amorim's so laid back and relaxed, I bet his hairdryer treatment would make the players soil themselves. Okay, straight in there. Who can get the most interesting chat in today? We've already got quite an interesting one there in the chat already. I mean, Ruben Amorim has spoken, Ricky, saying he'll be the nicest guy. But if you don't work for the team, he will change on you. And that's when he, will put his foot down. That gives the players no excuses, because it's like, if you work for me and you do what's best for the team, I will defend you, I will be the nicest person. But if you don't follow my rules and you become an individual, you won't like it. And he's put that out early.
We need that though.
Yeah.
And the players have no excuses of the way he communicates or his personality, because we've literally seen the Sporting players throwing him up in the air on his final game, even though he's leaving midway through a season, which probably has frustrated a few of them players, because a lot of them stayed when they could have left in the summer as well. I mean, the results that he got from them, and you could see the camaraderie, the players don't have anywhere to hide, do they now?
Nowhere. I absolutely love listening to him, the way he talks about things like that, about the work rate that's necessary. The bit that he said about everybody being on the same page, and he even mentioned an instant in a game where you might have a number 10 in between the lines and the ball comes to that number 10. So he's not just talking about people knowing what to do when we're defending and getting into team shape. When that ball comes into that man in space, you've all got to understand what his next move is going to be. That's basically what he was saying. We've all got to understand what each player is going to do when he gets the ball. And, it's exciting to listen to. He really is. I can't wait.
Well, something you messaged me about, Ricky, as well, is Ruben Amorim's comment saying we need to keep possession better, we need to hold possession more, and we need to work back more and defend more. I mean, this is something you've been talking... It sounds so simple, but this is something you've been talking about for a long time, about keeping it simple, keeping possession, but also being in shape, being defensively disciplined.
He's saying so much that I've just been saying for,
He's been watching.
for 5 years. He's been watching. You know what I mean? Working hard, getting a good team shape, getting everybody behind the ball when you concede. And then when you've got the ball, just keeping it. And another thing...
Got some breaking news.
Dead quick then.
Okay.
Another thing is working at getting the full-backs in behind, and that's what he's going to do with these wing-backs. And I believe that's been apparent on that little video that's been shown. I've not watched it, that video. Go on, Beth, what is it?
Breaking news.
Ooh.
We've got the front three for Manchester United today. Rasmus Højlund does not start.
Wow. I thought so.
He does not start for Manchester United, which is what a couple of people predicted. Marcus Rashford starts up front for Manchester United. And the two 10s in behind are Bruno Fernandes and Alejandro Garnacho.
Never.
What?
Yeah.
Never.
That is what's being leaked out right now.
Oh, let's leak.
The front three for Manchester United by Samsey.
Is it by Sam?
Yeah, Sam's put no Hoyland out there, yeah.
Oh, no, Highland. Did he put the Garnacho?
I'm just trying to find it, but Amorim Ball on Twitter, who has been amazing for Team News over the last few weeks, got everything right. He said the front three in the new 3-4 system against Ipswich today is Marcus Rashford up front and then Alejandro Garnacho and Bruno Fernandes.
That's a disaster.
Wow.
I thought he'd know better than that already.
Ricky's just been bigging him up. Ricky's just been bigging him up.
That's a disaster. So I'd say, I was about to say unless Ahmad's playing as a wing back, but I suppose that could be the case. But if Ahmad's not playing as a wing back, he's got to be in one of the positions.
Do you know what's absolutely crazy? Sorry, we're just going to have to react to this. I don't think anybody put Garnacho in a starting 11, and not because of any particular reason other than the fact that we didn't see his position, because everyone sees him as a winger and we didn't see him as inside forward. No one saw him as a wing back. He is Manchester United's highest goal scorer so far this season. He has been our best producing forward, but people just didn't see how he'd fit into this system yet. He's been on international duty. He's been away at Argentina. He's barely
He's
obviously
one of the players
coming
who's been to
straight.
South America.
Yeah,
I'm amazed.
I'm more just shocked at him, as in like the decision. It's not necessarily, like you said, it's not necessarily because Garnacho's that bad. He's not. That's a bit of an overreaction. It's just the fact that one, he's been praising Mason Mount so much. So I kind of thought if anyone knew was going to come into the team, it would have been Mason Mount. And secondly, like, what more does Ahmad have to do? The last game he played, we literally all sat here and said, well, he's starting next game. He is starting next game. He has to start next game.
That was a different manager, of course.
A different manager, but surely Ruben watched the game. Like, he would have seen, and he's not oblivious to who Amad Diallo is. He's not just found out about him last week. He knows the kind of player he is. But I'm just more surprised that it wasn't one of those two. I kind of, like you said, I thought, Garnacho, if he was to play, he would have been a sub. I can't see him starting down the middle, and those two positions behind him, one of them's gonna be Bruno. So it's like I'm just confused. I don't know.
I've got something that might make you feel better, Ricky.
Go on.
Johnny Evans starts.
Oh, fair enough.
There isn't a lot of choice at centre back, is there, for a change? Well, not for a change, but at the minute we've got loads of centre backs, but loads of them are injured, aren't they? So it's not really a shock.
What I will say is that. Can I just say, everyone in the chat who was going in on me on the morning show I did on why Rashford will start up front, I told you. I said 95% sure he would start up front. So I knew Bruno was going to start behind. I would call them two inside forwards rather than maybe two inside forwards. So, I knew Bruno Fernandes was going to start. That was obvious. It's the Garnacho one that's really kind of surprised everybody. But look, it's a new manager. I've loved the way he's spoken. Alejandro Garnacho is our highest goal scorer so far this season. Let's not start, criticising him when we've not even seen it. They might play and it might be completely different, and we'll see why he's done it. So, you've just got to give the new manager a chance. But already, Ricky, you're starting to question me.
I'm already disappointed.
I don't actually think it's a bad thing. I'm just more surprised it's not Ahmad. That's just my whole thing. I'm just surprised Ahmad.
He might be playing as a wing back. He
might be. But
he's the winger who suits the wing back position more than any of the other wingers.
I feel like it's a waste of Ahmad to put him as a wing back.
Can I just say, if Ahmad isn't starting, that I will be so shocked. And I won't.
So now we're talking like Mazraoui or Dalot isn't starting then, unless one of them might be playing at centre back. Look, there's so many. Permutations.
I would not be able to understand it if Ahmad doesn't start. He's been our best player over the last few games.
That last Leicester game.
Have you seen the stats?
It's just about is our best player. He's fantastic. I love him.
He's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. They can't put Ahmad at wing, but I feel like you're literally wasting Ahmad, putting him. You forced him to do things that he just doesn't necessarily have to do. And he would play so much better in one of those two inside forward, whatever you want to call it, those two inside forward positions. He'll play so much better there. That's where you get the best out of him. Why would you put him as a wing back?
Have you seen the stats for Rashford, Ahmad and Garnacho so far this season? I know these are in the typical winger positions. Minutes played, 713 for Garnacho, 763 for Rashford, 481 for Ahmad. Possession won in the final third, 0.6 for Garnacho and Rashford, 1.5 for Ahmad, wins on that front. Tackles, 1.5 for Garnacho, 0.6 for Rashford, 3 for Ahmad, this is per 90, wins on that front. Distance covered, 1 on that front out of all of them. Chances created, double, both Marcus Rashford and Garnacho. Passes into the final third, 11 for Garnacho, 14.5 for Rashford, 20.3 for Ahmad, wins on that. Dribbles completed, 0.8 for Garnacho, 1.1 for Rashford, 1.3 for Ahmad, wins on that. Distance carried, 209 metres for Garnacho, 127 metres for Rashford, 277.4 for Ahmad, wins on that. Shots, 3.9 for Garnacho, he wins on that one, 1.2 for Rashford, 2.3 for Ahmad. But as we were discussing, it might not be the best thing that you're having the most shots.
I've looked at that list. And on that list there's about 7 or 8 things. The only 2 things that Ahmad isn't first on, one of them's minutes played, that's beyond his control, right? And the other one's shots, and that's perhaps something that you don't want to be first on. You know, Garnacho's shooting too often when he shouldn't be shooting, and that's why he's in front. Ahmad is first in every single medium that you want to be first in.
I've just got more news.
Go on.
I look like a right idiot.
Go on.
Ahmad starts at right wing back.
There you go.
You're lying. No,
I was just calling Mark out saying it's going to be fullbacks. I'm happy he starts. But
Okay,
wow.
at least he's playing, innit? At least.
I was thinking that while you were saying it, Mordzs, I was thinking the lad will be happy if he's playing.
At least he's
When a new
playing.
manager comes in, you're just happy to play.
So I'm guessing Dallow's not.
He'd have played in goal if you asked him to. You know.
I don't even want to guess anything anymore because I'm just going to be wrong.
No one clicked that up from me at the start of the show about Ruben Amorim's had me right on there.
Yeah.
He's talked about how he's going to play fullbacks.
Beth, you might be able to wriggle out of it because you might find that we've not got enough centre-backs fit and Mazraoui's playing as a centre-back, in which case he might have played as a wing-back if we had enough centre-backs fit, you know, so you don't know.
All the news is coming in. Everyone with the team leaks, you're ruining my questions. I've not even got to ask if Mount's going to start yet to anyone, and he's obviously not doing, but...
Yeah, our predicted 11s are all wrong.
Wow, right, okay. Before I read the Super Chats out, let's just go over the team news that we've already got confirmed.
Okay.
No Højlund in the starting 11. Rashford starts up front. Bruno and Garnacho starting behind. Johnny Evans definitely starts at centre-back, and Ahmad starts at right wing-back. I'm interested to see this midfield too now as well. Wow, we've got some Super Chats coming in, and we also have another confirmed position. Dalot starts as left wing-back.
Right.
So we have a full-back on the left wing-back
Mazraoui's going to be a centre-back. I'll bet you anything Mazraoui's playing.
Overly sure. I think
I'll be amazed if he's not playing.
And if Mazraoui's playing as a centre-back, that means he might have played on the wing if we didn't have centre-backs.
I think it's going to be Evans, De Ligt and Mazraoui.
I do.
Yeah.
Because Yoro's not going to be quite fit enough to start, and he's not going to want to throw him in. Shaw's not fit enough to start, and we've got no one else. That's what it's going to be, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
Wow, it's so exciting. It's already kicking off. Everyone get your chats in.
You were so wrong.
Tell you what, if Mazraoui does start on the right side of centre-back, Mowbridge was right from his original prediction.
Mazraoui, he said that to start with, yeah.
Anyway, let's get some chats in from you guys. Thank you for everyone contributing. Any polls that you want, go in, get in the comments. Ronnie Dodge says, Amorim loves Mount, can see him start, he knows the system. Well, as of now, he might be starting in a deeper midfield position, but as of now, we've not got Mason Mount starting in the 11, we'll see. We have Daniel Winstanley saying, do you think he would be made to use some players? I doubt he's going to be absolutely forced to use players, but obviously there'll be pressure to use players that are on a very big wage and a very big contract, because it's of the best interest of the club. Abdi says, this up-front lineup just ruined Mark's optimistic 5-0 prediction. We'll go through predictions in a second. Ben Ellie says, a disaster. Come on, Ricky, it's a new formation. No judgments yet. Exactly, no judgments yet, everyone. We have to wait to see it play first. Marcus Wilkins... Sorry, I was just reading that chat to make sure that I could read it out, but thank you for your super chat. Ferrara, a member for 47 months, says, Rashford is not a striker. Very worrying news. Multiple managers have tried him as a striker over the years and it hasn't worked. Hopefully I am wrong.
That's a good point.
Ben Ellie says, guys, they aren't wing-backs, they are wingers. We need to see the idea before we make judgments on the selection. Lee Cape Town, welcome to the United Stand members clubs. When we say wing backs, it's just the position that we're calling it, to be honest with you. As the ones that are in front of the... A lot of people are not
grasping what a wing back is, Beth. A lot of people are not grasping it. Whether you're a full back or a winger, usually a full back's got a winger to work with. There's usually two wide players on both sides. One's a full back, one's a winger. If you only play with one wide player on that side, doesn't matter whether it's a winger or a full back, you're doing both jobs. If you're the winger who's playing as a wing-back, you've got to get in the full-back spot when you're under pressure. And if you're a full-back who's playing as the wing-back, you've also got to attack a lot. It doesn't matter whether it's the winger or the full-back. It's a specific job called wing-back, which means you've got to defend well and attack well.
Yeah, I've always said the wing back's actually the hardest position.
It's the hardest, one
you
of the
have to be
hardest
back and forth,
back and
like
forward,
equally as much. A fullback, sometimes you might, if you're more of a defensive fullback, you might stay back a little bit because you might want to be the fullback to recover a lot. Or
naturally, a fullback might defend a little bit more and maybe not run forward so often. But I don't think he'll be told to do that. He's expected to do both jobs. And the winger, if he's playing as a wing back, he's expected to do both jobs, and he won't be so good at getting back, will he?
Yeah.
One thing I will say is people say, they talk about wingers and wing backs and whether he'll start with wing backs and move into wingers, whether he'll start as a full back and then move into a winger. No matter who plays in that position, like we've spoken about, it's going to be the same role now as it is going to be in a few months.
Correct.
Like, he's not just suddenly going to be like, go on everyone, get into the
stay forward,
get into the final third, don't bother defending. It's going to be the same role whether a winger plays there, a wing back plays there, whether, like you said, Victor Lindelof randomly plays there, which he won't. You never know in the future, but he won't. But it's going to be the same role. Get forward when you can, but you've obviously got to be defensively disciplined.
That's the point about another player. If you played Hoyland there, he's now playing as a wing back. He's not playing as a centre forward. It's a specific position with specific jobs to do. So no matter whether you're Marcus Rashford, Garnacho, Shaw, Dalot, or whether you're bloody Harry Maguire or Victor Lindelof, you're in that position. You've got to do that job.
Yeah.
They'd never play there, of course. I'm trying to make it as ridiculous as I can to point out that it is a position on the field that you have now got to play in.
You just would assume that he was going to start with fullbacks to begin with because, like he said in his interview, it's easier to put them in because they already know the defensive side of things, whereas it's harder to teach a natural winger, especially in the Ten Hag system where they were playing so far forward.
That's
what Gary Neville said. Did you see that interview?
No, yeah, of course I watched it.
In that interview, Gary Neville was chuckling. He said, because he said, like, it's not easy to teach wingers to defend properly. And Gary Neville chuckled. And I'm going to I'll bring this up later on the show afterwards as well. Everybody ridiculed me when I said Dan James. If Dan James was with us now, he'd have a chance of starting today in a wing-back spot. He's already a winger who's good defensively. And when I was banging on about it on the video that I made, I was banging on about how important it is that you defend well. And that counts for wingers even when you're playing 4-4-2, not just when you're playing as wing-backs.
Does this not show, Mords, though, how much faith the manager obviously has in Ahmad defensively, the fact he's put him there? Because even though Garnacho is still starting and Rashford is still starting, he's not trusted them to go and play at wing-back, even though the wingers have that. He's trusted Ahmad, despite Ahmad being our best forward player over the last few games. He's put him as a wing-back. Does that not show his respect for him for his all-round game?
100%. I said earlier in the show, it's not necessarily about if it's a fullback or winger, it's just about who adapts the best. And I feel like Ahmed is probably one of the most adaptable players in the team. Him and probably someone like Mazraoui, maybe like a Dalot, those are the kind of players who you can put in 2-3 positions because their versatility and their adaptability when it comes to being able to, play on either side or play with both feet, keep possession, defend, it's so much higher than everybody else's. You can throw them in 2-3-4 positions. I think he said, I can't remember what other player he mentioned about that can play another. I think it was Mount or you got another team.
Just keep going.
That space just keeps on keep
going.
But yeah, I'm just saying that I think Ahmad is just super versatile, so it makes sense for him to be able to play 2 or 3 positions. But I want to know what's going on.
Okay, so this is from the same source that we've had all the other information from.
Must have a full team here by now.
Yeah, I do. The team that I have got as of now, I'm not saying it's 100%, but this is the elite team from Amorim Ball on Twitter, who has been very good, perfect with team news. We have Anana in goal.
It's a full team. 3
centre-backs, Mazraoui on the right, De Ligt central and Evans on the left. A midfield 2 of Casemiro and Eriksen.
Right.
Wing-backs of Dalot and Ahmad. Garnacho and Bruno in front and then Rashford up top.
Right.
So Eriksen has made the starting 11. Another player that everybody ruled out. Nobody put him in the starting 11. Everyone was saying, is it going to be Ugarte or is it going to be Mainu? Well, it's Eriksen. So, thoughts on that, everyone?
thoughts on that is everybody thinks Eriksen's finished, and I've been banging on that he isn't finished. And if you all want to support Ruben Amorim, you've got to get behind Christian Eriksen.
He's been our best midfielder this season,
Christian Eriksen. Yeah.
I feel like people's opinion on him has changed a lot this season, definitely. I don't think people think he's finished anymore. I think because he was injured for a little bit, he did come back for like 1 or 2 games. And to be fair, which game was it? I remember we were watching it here. And like the last 20 minutes or something like that, he came and he was just bopping it around. I think you mentioned it on one of the shows.
Yeah, it rings a bell. I can't remember what.
I thought maybe Tull mentioned it actually. Someone mentioned it on one of the fan forums.
Yeah, Tull said it.
He came back for 15 minutes and he was just bopping it around like he's clearly the best player on the pitch in terms of keeping possession. So it's not surprising that Eriksen can get into the team. I just thought Ugarte was his guy.
I thought Ugarte would play.
I just thought he was his guy. So
he's another one that's been to South America, but he can't hold that against him, no, because obviously Garnacho's playing.
I was about to say,
if he's playing,
I was about to say, I think it's because Ugarte has been over to South America. I know he's starting Garnacho, but Ugarte's played every minute for Uruguay. Whereas Garnacho, I don't know how many minutes he played for Argentina, but it won't have been as much as...
for half an hour, I think.
Yeah.
And he got absolute pelters, by the way, from the Argentinian fans.
Oh, did he?
Did he?
Yeah, they're proper on him.
Wow,
Don't
okay.
rate him at all.
So he came on for half an hour, whereas Ugarte played every minute. So it is a little bit different.
It's that flight that kills him. Yeah.
It is a little bit different. I honestly, can I just say, even though I didn't have Eriksen in my predicted 11, I do not understand the backlash. He's been our best midfielder this season. Okay, yeah, his legs aren't what they used to be, and okay, he's not, prime Kante, someone who's going to be able to run around. But on the ball, he's fantastic. He makes things tick. He's been our best midfielder this season. And you've got to remember, he's in a setup where he's got a little bit more security around him as well.
Yeah. I'm not even completely against it, I'll be honest. In fact, I'm not against it at all. The run that Eriksen had, I think even remember the Crystal Palace game, and I think that was kind of one of the games where people were slowly starting to turn to be in favour of Eriksen. I remember I put him in my predicted 11 or something. Everyone's like, no way, Eriksen can't play. And I was like, well, as long as Eriksen, which he is by far has the best IQ, but as long as he has the ball, we're good. Because you don't have to worry about him having legs. He's got the ball. Why does he need to have legs when has the ball? And that's exactly what happened in that game. Eriksen had the ball for most of the game, or he was knocking it around the most out of everyone. His whole leg situation, the whole physicality thing was out the window because he's the one who's controlling the play. And let's be honest, we're playing Ipswich today. No offence. But we're going to have the ball most of the game, hopefully anyway. I mean, don't jinx it.
Don't say that.
Let me not jinx it.
Every game in the Premier League is hard, right? Mordzs, let's put it this way.
It is. Southampton apparently
Let's put it this way. Ipswich beat Spurs at their stadium, and Spurs have just beat City at the Etihad 4-0. Anyone can beat anyone.
But Ipswich are bottom 2 or something like that.
Anyone can beat anyone.
But I just think
on the day they can beat anyone.
I'm talking about in terms of possession, because you can win a game with 2% possession. I'm just saying, I think we're going to have the ball the most in this game.
Ipswich could still beat us even if we had 80% of the ball.
Yeah,
it can still happen.
Now that you guys know the lineup, let's run a poll, get voting. Are you happy with Ruben Amorim's first ever starting 11 for Manchester United? We will react to every position. Want to go through it a little bit more. Mason Mount obviously isn't starting. A lot of people thought he was going to. Lenny Yoro isn't starting. People thought he was going to. Christian Eriksen starting. No one thought he was going to. I thought there was a chance, but no one really put him in there because of Ruben Amorim's connection with Ugarte. We'll discuss it. I'm sure Ruben Amorim's going to get asked questions before the game as well. We'll react to them quotes. But everyone get your votes in, get your comments in. One thing I will say is I'm seeing a lot of reaction. Obviously, it's something different. It's new. We can all comment, but I think no one should overreact until we see it play on a pitch.
Yeah.
Because, we've got to give it an opportunity, got to give it a chance. And, sometimes you'll see the exact starting 11 you want, you'll see it play and you'll think, wow, this is not good. Let's watch it play. I'm so excited. And I have faith in the manager. I have faith in the manager as of now. Angie Lawrence says, no surprises in the starting 11 for me, to be honest. Lovely Bit of Squirrel says, I think we all have PTSD from the donut formations this season, which is why people are unsure on Eriksen. Chris Andromeda says, Rashford up front has me a little bit nervous. Villings says, bring back Ten Hag. Oh my gosh, please. Emiliano Jimenez says, that attacking 3 will create no chances and take 30 shots from far away. We need Mount or Ahmad there. Ali Jaber says, Elanga would be perfect. Sean K says, it's good he tried Rashford up front. He's definitely not a hard-working winger. And if he's bad, he will be benched in the future with no excuse. Dean Ryan says, love the show, watching from Dublin. Can you shout out my nephew for winning his first fight? Well done, to Jordan for winning your first fight. Absolutely fantastic. Hope United can follow it up with a win today. Lee Cape Town says, let's hope they are consistent. That is all. Willie Fally says, we have to know this is a new manager. Believe in him. Love you, Ricky. Ali Jaber says, Ricky, in your opinion, who is better going forward, Dallo or Mazraoui? Love the show. Ricky is the GOAT. Who do you think is better going forward?
Just about say Dallo, I think. I think they're both really good. It's a difficult question.
Thomas Hopley says, now you understand why Nacho starts in the front line, Ricky, because he can't be trusted on the wing position in this system. Have some faith, mate. And we've got Stephen Willock saying the squad is okay, just wish the leaks would stop. We're going to obviously react to them. Jack Stockdale says, to be fair, Mainu is coming back from injury, so not surprised Eriksen has come into the starting 11. I mean, that's a good question, Mords, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think when Mainu's 100% fit, he takes Eriksen's place in there? Or do you think he'd take Casemiro's place in there? Like, where do you think Mainu comes in and fits in?
I don't know whose place he takes, but he plays. I can't say which one it's going to be, because I do think eventually it is going to be Ugarte and Mainu. Eventually, maybe next season, maybe later on this season, but eventually I do think those will be the two players which will be the starting two midfielders. That's what you want to call it, because of the fact that yes, we spoke about how Eriksen, he hasn't necessarily lost his legs, or he's not necessarily a liability, but he is still coming to an age where, you know, he's going to be thinking, I'm going to want to move on eventually. And same with Casemiro, they're both coming to a point in their career where they're going to want to eventually move on to another club. So those two players, Ugarte and Mainu, are going to be the future two midfielders for United under Amorim. So yeah, eventually I do think Mainu will get his spot back in the team.
This is why you shouldn't believe everything you read as well. I've seen so many reports midweek saying Eriksen's going to be one of the first ones to go under Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim said he wants intensity and Eriksen doesn't fit that. He's in his first starting 11 and we've got options. Yeah. So put some respect on his name. Been our best player so far this season. Okay, yeah, he might not be able to last for a few years, but I think the proof is in the pudding in terms of who's been able to perform for Manchester United this season. I know there's clean slates, but there's other players that could play there, but they are coming back from injury, or maybe they have had a long flight from South American. Ruben Amorim clearly wants some stability in there, and Christian Eriksen definitely does offer that. I mean, just a little bit of news coming in as well. Lenny Yoro is not with the squad, so obviously not 100% fit enough to play today, so he's not with the squad, but Kobbie Mainoo and Luke Shaw both are in the squad today. I
think it's the fact that we've got, when Euro does eventually come back, we've got quite a few options, you know, in terms of like rotation, in terms of, you know, we're still in every competition. We've not been kicked out of any competition yet, so we're gonna need all of these players to be available. The fact that we need three centre-backs, three good centre-backs, whatever you want to call Mazraoui a centre-back as well, or Luke Shaw centre-back as well, we're going to need three of those players to be able to play in different games. So Euro coming back, Mainu coming back, Eriksen, Casemiro, Ugarte, even though it's not those necessarily everyone's predicted 11, all of these players are going to play eventually. They're all going to get to play. Thursday, there could be a completely different team. There could be a completely new team, like with you know, Euro could be starting, Ugarte could be starting. You never know who's going to be playing. Ahmad might not even start on Thursday, but I think it's a good thing that we've got so many more options compared to what, you know, we've had in the past.
Jose Santos says, trust the manager, it's about the best team, not the favourite players we have. I mean, I wanted to bring in Ruben Amorim's quote around Mason Mount that came out midweek. He got asked about Mason Mount and he said he loves that kid. He can see it in his eyes how much he wants it. He's played in this system before, so it suits him. He's got two positions for him. A lot of people are thinking maybe that's the two in behind the striker, but some people are thinking it's a position in behind the striker and maybe even deeper in potential games. Obviously, he doesn't start today. We don't know whether that's because of fitness, just coming back from injury, or whether it's just preference from Ruben Amorim. But I'm assuming he will be with the squad. Do you see Mason Mount getting some minutes today? And like you said, Mords, it might be a different starting 11 midweek. Ruben Amorim might have not 100% figured out who it's going to be yet, and it gives everyone that chance, doesn't it?
100%. I do think he'll get minutes. I think there's probably a few players on the bench that he's going to. Let's put it this way: he's going to make 5 subs in it. Everyone's going to get.
Usually they do these days, don't
they? Yeah, he's 100% going to make every sub that he can make, because naturally there are a couple of players who have just come back from it. In fact, let me even look at the team again, because someone like Eriksen probably gets subbed off. Evans, I know he's probably and he might play the whole game, but again, he usually gets subbed off at some point during the game. So
depends how many centre backs we have on the bench or defenders who can play there.
Who is it?
Luke Shaw could go there, couldn't he, for 20 minutes?
Yeah, Luke Shaw could go there.
Yeah, so Evans might get subbed for Luke Shaw. So I do think the players who have come back are all going to get opportunities to play.
This is one. Under Erik ten Hag, we're so used to Bruno Fernandes playing the full 90, never ever being subbed. Do you think under Amorim, Ricky, that maybe Mount could maybe come on for Bruno like everyone's wanted for a while in terms of midway through a game?
It'll definitely happen. I shouldn't say definitely. I think it'll happen at some stage. I'm not saying it'll happen today, though. It entirely depends today on how it's going. You know what I mean? I hope it proved me wrong. I hope the manager can prove me wrong. But in their number 10 roles, I like players who can get it and turn and give it. Garnacho likes to run with the ball a lot. He's not and Bruno's not one of my favourites. He looks for too many difficult passes. You know, I've got Mount ahead of them as a number 10. I've got Eriksen ahead of them as a number 10. I thought Eriksen might have a chance there to come on as a sub in that position, but I didn't expect him to play deeper back. I think Mainoo's perfectly capable of playing in that role further forward. Yeah. I think we've got better players who can play in their number 10 roles. Ahmad, there's about 4 players there to me that are better. Yeah. But if it goes well, they're not going to get subbed. If we're winning 3-0 and they've got a goal each or something, do you know what I mean? They might not get subbed.
We've still got Højlund and Xerxes on the bench that we haven't even spoke about yet. So.
Exactly, both Højlund and Xerxes. Let's talk about it, because I know everyone's got comments on this topic. That's what I'm mainly seeing in the chat right now. A lot of people reacting to Marcus Rashford leading the line for Manchester United today, being the centre forward. I mean, Ricky, we've brought Højlund in, we've brought Xerxes in, 2 strikers there, none of them start. It's Marcus Rashford who's been at the club for, since he was what, 6 or 7 years old? Yeah. He's the guy who's starting up front under the new era, under the new manager. Does that say more about Amorim's faith in Rashford, or does it say more about the fact that maybe towards the end of the season he's going to be looking to get his own striker in?
Probably the latter. Look, Marcus has played as a number 9 under every manager, and every manager's dismissed it in the end, haven't they, and put him on the wing. Yeah. So I just can't say it. And Amorim must know that. He must talk to people within the club, and whether he thinks he can get something better out of him, or whether he just doesn't really. It could be as simple as this. He also might not rate Højlund, he might not rate Xerxes, and he might not rate Rashford, but feels as though he's just got to play with a striker, and one of them's got to play.
The best of the three.
He might think like that, but I'm surprised that Rashford's playing at number 9. I really am. Yeah, and I'll be surprised as well if he keeps him there for say 3 or 4 games. If he's not like probably the 5th manager in a row who then dismisses that idea. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I think also the fact that Garnacho's playing as one of the 2, I don't even know what you would call 10s, let's call them 10s.
Yeah. I think that's a kind of a preview of Rashford could probably play there as well. I think because they are similar players in terms of like the way they do play. They're both naturally wingers rather than 9, so that could be another thing where you might end up putting Højlund up front and then just putting Rashford there again.
And then be dropping Rashford back with Bruno.
Yeah, dropping Rashford next to Bruno. But one thing I will say is, I agree, I've never really fancied Rashford as a number 9. I don't think, I've seen people say that, it's worked under certain managers. I've never personally seen it work over a good run of games. You might see 1 or 2 games here and there. I think that the Barnsley game, he played up front and he scored a couple of goals, but you've never seen a consistent amount of games of him playing, well, like very well as a number 9. So
people are so fickle as well. I mean, he might not play well today, but he might score a goal, and people will then say, "Well, it worked."
What do you make of the phrase "feed Rashford and he will score you goals"?
You know what? Yeah, one thing I will say is, you said it before when you saw them train when you went to.
It's his best attribute, isn't it? Scoring.
Yeah.
I know you need more than that to be a striker. I know.
He's not bad. If we can get a ball for him to chase and come through onto the keeper with a chance. Yeah. But he's not great at sniffing out chances in the box. He's not always dead lively. If we're firing crosses across the box, it doesn't strike me as the bravest for going in where it's going to hurt.
I feel like that first season under Ten Hag, I feel like he was good at doing that. I feel like a lot of his goals came from him just being in the right place at the right time in the box, because they weren't necessarily like, if you go back and watch Rashford's goals from that season where he scored 30 goals, a lot of them were literally just Rashford being in the box at the right time. Right. Maybe that was just you call it a purple patch, whatever you want to call it, innit? But I do feel like that was something that he had in this game. But what I was going to say is, I mean, Beth, you said one time about you saw him training, he was probably one of the best trainers you saw. That's all Ruben Amorim's going to have. He's only going to have training to see what these players can do. And if he is one of the best trainers, it's probably one of the reasons why he's starting. So
from what I saw, he was by far the best.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it's only a small portion, obviously.
A lot of people do say that. I heard McTominay say the same thing, that Rashford's probably the best in training. So that's probably one of the reasons.
Well, the confirmed lineup is in, and it's absolutely right.
Is it that what it is? Yeah.
It's exactly right of what we've got. So
we've got the subs bench now then.
we have got the bench. So obviously I'll just read the starting lineup out again, and then I'll read the subs bench. You have Onana in goal. You have your 3 centre backs as Johnny Evans, De Ligt, and Mazraoui. You have your wing backs, or wingers as you would call them, whatever you want to say, wing backs, is Dalot on the left and Ahmad on the right. You have your midfield 2 of Casemiro and Eriksen. 2 in front of that as Garnacho and Bruno, and your striker is Marcus Rashford. The subs bench is Bayindir, Malacia, Shaw, Mainu, Mount, Ugarte, Anthony, Hoyland and Xerxes.
That's a bench.
Fantastic bench.
The bench is
Better than the starting lineup.
The bench is strong. The bench is strong, and it's mad to think that obviously not all of them are going to make it onto the pitch, but Ruben Amorim is known for using his squad and using his subs. So I would not be surprised if all 5 subs are used today.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like if it's Hoyland or Xerxes is going to come on the pitch, one of them, probably Hoyland, he's going to come on the pitch. And I do feel like if he does go into that number 9, he would just drop Garnacho and probably put Rashford as that second 10 or whatever you want to call it, because I can't see him putting on Xerxes as that 10. Maybe actually.
Yeah, but there's loads of others that could do it.
There's loads of others that he could put there. Mount could go there.
Southampton have just gone 2-1 up against Liverpool.
Really?
Yeah.
How long's left in that game, Beth?
How long's left in that game? We're on the 60th minute.
Tyler, I don't even want to go into Liverpool, but that striker, he's a baller. I don't know his name on the watch or something like that.
Oh, have you got the goal scorers, Beth?
I don't know if he scored in it.
I don't know the second goal scorer, but Szoboszlai scored for Liverpool, Armstrong scored for Southampton. I don't know who the second one is yet.
I don't know if he scored, but from what I saw, he was playing well. And Tyler Diblin was playing well.
So, but back on to Manchester United. A lot of people in the chat is saying, where's Kunkonki, the 16-year-old centre-back? He travelled, he's obviously not made the final squad, but it's still a really good experience for him. And a lot of people asking about Lenny Yoro. He's not made the squad. We're thinking just not maybe wanting to risk him. If he's not fully fit, then, you know, ease him back in as time goes on. And that's Ruben Amorim's decision. But that is the bench. That is the starting 11. And you can see the starting 11 on your screen there. I mean, just going back to the striker, because he's obviously given Rashford the opportunity to lead the line. He's been in training with him all week. You've got to remember that. And like you said, strong trainer. But it's up to Rashford to keep that spot. It's up to Rashford to take the opportunity. And if not, you know, you do have Hoyland there. You do have Xerxes there, who's going to be obviously sniffing around. I mean, Ricky, do you see a world in which he gives Hoyland maybe the midweek game against Bodo Glimt and then he makes a decision for the future?
I can see a world where that happens, but you know, it's a funny old game, football, isn't it? If Rashford happens to score a goal or 2 today, he might think to himself, this kid's going to be all right for me at number 9, and he might think, I want to keep this running, and I might, you know, and there's loads of different ways of looking at it. Marcus might have a stinker today, and he might think he's got to be better than that. I'm going to give him another run. So no matter what happens, it's hard to say what's going to happen.
Yeah. And you know, one thing I will say as well is, I feel like you spoke about Rashford being like this confidence player, innit? And I feel like a new manager always gives Rashford confidence. I feel like under Ollie, that first season, I think that's probably one of Rashford's best seasons. Where I think that was the what's it called, COVID season, kind of. Was that Ollie's first season, the COVID season?
That was his second.
Was that his second? Well, one of those early seasons on the Ollie, Rashford was playing well, and then under Ten Hag, his first kind of full season,
he got the most goals.
He's playing well. You never know. Again with Amorim, he might have a similar kind of stint where new manager, new bounce, he could end up playing well. So I'm always a fan of our players who are playing on the pitch to play well. I'm never going to say I want him to play bad or I think he's going to play that. No, let's support the players who are on the pitch. We want them to score.
A lot of people in the chat are saying it's a back 4. That's not what we're hearing. What we're hearing is the way we've put it out. It's a 3-4-3. it looks like it could be a back four because of the players you've got, but it's a 3-4-3 for Manchester United.
Yeah, 100%.
Got some more super chats coming in. Keep getting them in, guys. I mean, it's exciting, isn't it? Just under an hour until we kick off. Hitch Steam with a super chat in. Thank you very much. Siraj Mukherjee says, what will happen to pressing? Rasmus is way better. Tomo Duff says, Ricky, this formation would have been perfect for McTominay. Angie Lawrence says, Ruben Amorim selected the team to playing together with slight adjustments in his positions equals security for his first game. We've got Dan Edis saying Openda is perfect for Ruben Amorim. Stian says, how about Casemiro, right centre-back, Mazraoui and Dalot as the wing-backs, Bruno in the centre, and Ahmad and Garnacho behind the striker. That's not what we're being told, but, you know, people can interpret it different ways. This is for Shailin says, Beth, Ricky and Mordzs, big up to you guys. Looking forward to the first game under Amorim. Much love from Philly. And we also have Lee Cape Town saying, here's the thing, Bruno is not a 10, he plays deeper for country. Amorim might put him deeper and Eriksen higher up. And Madhan Jetty says, love from India, who should we buy first? I mean, that's a discussion for another day, isn't it? Let's see how this team performs first. Sirabar, I'm not even reading that out this early on. Honestly, I'm really just not reading that out. And Side the Salmon says, this squad feels stronger with the same players. That right side is scary good. Sean Tran says, when Yoro, Martinez, Lindelof and Maguire comes back from injury, who do you think gets dropped from the squad? Well, it just depends if all centre-backs are fit at the same time, which is very, very rare for Manchester United, isn't it? So
very rare.
We'll see. We'll just have to see for the future. But I'm glad De Ligt secured his spot in there as a central centre-back. He's, for me, been one of our strongest performers so far this season. Really good signing. And yeah, Mazraoui is centre-back. Oh, let's talk about that, actually. We can talk more about the forward line, more about Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, you know, Casemiro and Eriksen playing there. But let's talk about the centre-backs, because this is different. It's a back three. Johnny Evans, obviously, experience. Ricky, the lights went off in the studio when you spoke about him thriving under Ruben Amorim. But Ruben Amorim's picked him, he's gone with him. Again, fantastic performance for Manchester United.
You just mentioned it about De Ligt, but now you're mentioning Johnny Evans. Let's be honest, there's no fit centre-backs, is there? So
there's not.
We don't really know what it would have been if they was all fit, do we?
There's not, but they've got an opportunity now to keep themselves in the starting 11, and that's their opportunity. And what interests me is the positions they've played him in. So he's played Johnny Evans on the left side, obviously, because he's got on his left foot. You have De Ligt centrally, and you have Mazraoui on the right side, because obviously he's more of a right back on his right foot. But Mazraoui is a centre-back. He's played as a number 10 for Manchester United before. He's played as a full-back, left and right. Now he's playing as a centre-back, really versatile player. Are you interested to see how he gets on in that role?
Yeah, really am, yeah. Like you said earlier, Mark predicted, I mean, he probably wouldn't... It probably would have been wrong if we had all the centre-backs fit, but Mark did predict that Mazraoui would start as one of the three centre-backs. And, you know, I poo-pooed it at the time, and I'll still poo-poo it. Now, if everyone was fit, I don't think he would be playing at centre-back. But I'm intrigued to see how he does, and he's a really competent player. I've noticed he's strong in the air. It might be a little bit different if he comes up against a big striker or something, because obviously usually you're playing wider, you're not playing against people who are quite as tall usually when you're on the flank. But he does look solid in the air. He's really good on the ball. Great tackler as well, so I don't see any problems with him playing there whatsoever. Really don't.
I think it works anyway, because I think it was McKenna. I can't remember which manager it was. I think it was McKenna when he said, I think someone asked him, "Or how are you gonna kind of adapt to playing against a three at the back or this new formation?" And he pretty much said, playing three at the back or playing 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it, it's just the same as playing 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or whatever. It's just the way it's set up when they start off kickoff. Because realistically, they're still going to have 4 defenders at every time, maybe even 5.
Don't even encourage the chat, because everyone's saying it's a 4 at the back. It's not. It's a 3. It's a 3-4-3.
It's a 3-4-3, but sometimes when you look at it during a game, it might look like the same way how we've set up before.
Shall we run through a team there that they're trying to come up with? So they're thinking it's going to be Mazraoui, De Ligt,
Evans
and Dalot.
Yeah.
They think Ahmad's going to be on the right, Garnacho's going to be on the left,
Casemiro
and Eriksen, and then Bruno and Rashford. Yeah, sounds like it could be.
That's what I'm saying. It could very easily look like a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. It could very easily look like that on the pitch.
It could look like that, but the way that Ruben Amorim is planning to set it up is a 3-4-3. At some points in the game, you know, Mazraoui might drop into that position and Dalot might drop back. It might happen, but he is setting it up as a 3-4-3.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is how he's setting it up.
Still can't wait.
But yeah, that is the way he's setting it up.
I'm not quite as excited as I was this morning, though, now that I've seen the 3 players in the attacking positions. But
who would you have changed in that, Ricky?
I'd have had Højlund at number 9. And I'd have had Mason Mount and Mainu as the 2 number 10s. Mainu's fit, and he's on the bench, isn't he? Mainu?
Mainu's on the bench.
Yeah, I'd try Mason Mount and Mainu in those 2 positions.
You would have had
And I'm sure they'd both be better.
You would have had Mainu in behind the striker.
Mainu's great at receiving the ball and turning. And when I heard him talk about that during the week, the manager, he even mentioned that, it was only one thing that he mentioned about when we get on the ball, and it was about when a player gets on the ball in between the lines and turns. He actually said, and when he turns, all the other players have got to understand what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And I believe Mainu's better for that. When Bruno turns, he's got the ball in between the lines. You haven't got an effing clue what he's going to do, have you? Do you know what I mean?
I'm Maine's biggest fan in it. I don't care. I think he can play any of those positions.
I think he could, but I think his best is in the 2 in front.
Yeah.
I just think he's so good at receiving the ball off the back line and taking it out and driving up the pitch. I think he's class at that.
But if he was playing with, let's say, for example, a Casemiro and a Ugarte, he doesn't necessarily need to be.
No, I think he could play.
I mean? So
I do think he could play further forward because he's so creative. And I remember the FA Cup game against Liverpool, and he was doing some crazy stuff in and around the final third. Even though he was playing as a 6 in that game, he was getting up the pitch and playing in the final third, and he was unreal.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, you will get on today, I think.
Maybe we'll see 1 or 2 changes in that position. We've got that many people who can play that position.
Yeah.
I think I sent you a list during the week, Beth, of about 6 different players that could play in that position, and I didn't even have Garnacho in it, and he's starting.
Everybody, please make sure you hit a like on the video. We've got crazy numbers in the chat. Please hit a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share it around. Thank you so much for joining us. It's so exciting, this countdown to kick-off, and I cannot wait to see what Ruben Amorim has in store for us. We've got the starting 11, we've got the bench. Would you say that's the strongest bench we've had all season?
I need to see the bench. Yeah,
I would say
He's got to be
it is.
up there. I can't really remember all the benches now, but he's got to be up there, surely.
And you know what's funny? Like before we started filming, you said before, like, it's not a shock that everyone's just available now. Like the whole team, everyone's just here. Like out of nowhere, we've got 1 injury.
Do you think, Mordzs, one thing I will say is about Garnacho is, do you think he'll be feeling a little bit like everyone's written me off? Everyone said I'm not going to start in this system. I'm the top scorer. Like, let's see who starts on opening weekend then, shall we? He's in the starting 11. Do you feel like he maybe has a little bit of a point to prove today, and you might see that? Also, do you think he'll play differently? Because it is a bit of a different position.
Yeah.
And Ruben Amorim has spoken about how important it is to keep hold of the ball.
Yeah.
And we know from Portuguese journalists we've spoken to that he said the 2 players behind the striker are the hardest working players in the whole team in a Ruben Amorim system. So he's going to have to work hard as well.
I think he's a hard worker anyway. I've never thought that was a negative in Garnacho's game. Like,
He's a non-stop runner.
He's a non-stop runner. He's always been that kind of player. He's always had this kind of, something to prove kind of mentality when he's played. So that side of his game, I feel like it does suit him. The fact that, you just mentioned those 2 players that have to be runners. There's got to be someone who's going to work hard, going to chase the ball, going to press. So I think he's going to do well in that style, in that phase of the game. It's the discipline on the ball, which I think is going to be interesting to see with Garnacho. Is he going to be more of the Garnacho that we've seen before? You mentioned about he had the most shots of all of our attacking players, or the front, him, Rashford and Ahmad. Is he going to be that kind of player, or is he going to be more of a facilitator, passing the ball a lot more?
Playing in this role, it's even more important that you look to pass it than it is when you're playing on the wing. Playing on the wing, well, when you're playing on the wing, first of all, you can only really look one way. When you're playing in that central role, you could turn one way or the other, and you've got to try and look to get somebody else in behind. And you'll have players running off you, running past you, and if you're just going to keep shooting as often as he does, that's no good. Running at the up position defence, as long as it comes off, that's something I wanted to bring up. I've just reminded myself. That list that you brought up earlier was a list of completed. So many different things was on it. One of them was completed dribbles per 90 minutes. If you go back to it, I don't know if it's too difficult.
No,
I'm pretty sure you said Garnacho's was something like 0.8 per game.
Try and get it up now. It was on this sheet somewhere.
So I'll get back to my number 10 role. In that number 10 role, it's even more important. And the manager's spoken about the players have got to know what you're going to do next.
Dribbles completed.
Yeah.
So Ahmad's was 1.3, the best.
Right.
Rashford's was 1.1 and Garnacho's was 0.8.
So he's actually, I assume a completed dribble means taking the man on and coming out with the ball the other side. And he's doing it less than once a game. And yet everybody loves him dribbling past people.
Players. I mean, that's a fair point.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
I'll be curious to know what a complete dribble
where the figures
technically
come
means.
from.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not worried about Garnacho playing in this position. And also, from seeing those training clips, the one video that they dropped, and you could see how Mount was playing in that position, and a lot of it was off-ball runs. A lot of it wasn't. Mount didn't have the ball and he was taking on players. It was more he was getting in between them channels, those inside channels. And then let's say, I think Malacia was the one playing as the wing back. He was the one finding him on the outside. So Malacia was kind of the furthest player wide and then Mount was kind of more inside. So it'd be curious to see if how Garnacho will be able to do that, because he's probably more used to having the ball at his feet, not necessarily being the one to kind of make just that run and so then he just gets across it, if that makes sense. So I think it'll be interesting to see how he adapts to that style of play.
Elvin Motovac says Bruno triple captain today on FPL. That's actually a shout, to be fair. I think Bruno will deliver today. Wade with a super chat in. We have Cy the Salmon saying the squad feels strong with the same players. The right side is scary good. I've done that one. Going to talk about players to watch, but my first question, and everybody answer it in the chat as well. Please get your comments in. I would love to hear what you guys think. Who are you most surprised isn't starting today? One player you're most surprised isn't starting.
Okay, mine's Ugarte. Straight away.
Mine's Ugarte.
I don't even think of him, but it's got to be short.
Yeah, mine. Because he's not like.
All the other players are coming back from injury or not quite ready or whatever, all different reasons.
Mine's Ugarte, yeah.
A lot of people are getting. The main names that are coming in is Ugarte, Mainu, and Rasmus. Hoyland. They're the names that are coming in.
I wasn't surprised about Hoyland.
A couple people saying Mount as well, maybe.
During the week, it seems to have been rumoured a lot that Rashford was going to start at number 9.
And you can see, I just thought anyway, regardless of how good or bad you think Rashford is, he's just gonna start. Like I've come to the conclusion now, he's gonna start. There's no point trying to predict if he's gonna start or not. He is.
Just so you know as well, everyone. Southampton and Liverpool, Salah's just equalised. It's 2-2 now.
Okay.
So let's see. He's got about 10 minutes left.
I don't even want to.
So we're going with Ugarte. Is the one that we're most surprised isn't starting. And we've kind of put that down to South America, but let's see how it develops.
Yeah.
Who are you most surprised is starting?
Christian Eriksen.
And get in the chat as well.
Got to be Christian Eriksen.
Nah, who's the centre backs again? Sorry, was it
Evans, Dele, Mazraoui?
I'm not surprised at that.
Dalot, you expect him to play, wouldn't you?
I'd probably say either Garnacho or Eriksen.
I was going to say either Garnacho
or a good shout as well.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ahmad's playing as a wing back rather than a 10. I pictured him as like an inside forward. I had him nailed on for that role, so I'm surprised the position he's playing.
I think I was going to say the most surprising thing is just where everyone's playing. I don't necessarily.
I think the thing with Ahmad, and you said earlier that you prefer him when he's playing on a wing rather than as an. Oh no, you prefer him as a number 10 rather than on a wing.
In one of those two positions.
He's been dangerous on the wing for us, and even though he's playing as a wing back, let's be honest, we're hoping that we're going to have most of the ball and most of the pressure. And as I've said, if you have got most of the ball and most of your pressure, your two wing backs are playing like wingers during that period. It's only when you're under pressure that they then become like fullbacks. So he should really be playing pretty much, hopefully, that we've got most of the ball. And he should really be playing his natural game here on the right wing most of the time.
Yeah, most likely.
Ruben Amorim has been asked what he expects from Manchester United today, and his comment was a first win. We have to be patient, but we know we have to win matches. We will change some things, but not too much. A first victory, and I will be a very happy man. I'm a different person on a match day, a little anxious. I don't know what to expect. It's a new life. It's a new start with the little details. So we'll see if any more quotes come in. But we all would love a first win as well.
Absolutely.
100%.
I want to see how we play as well. I know he's not had much time. It's hard coming midway through a season, especially into a club like Manchester United, especially in the situation that we're in. But I've got to be honest, guys, you look at the Premier League table and Manchester United can achieve something this season. We can. Like, Manchester United, we're currently in 12th. I mean, we've already gone up a position. We've Ruben Amorim.
Oh, I wanted to say that. He's working miracles, this manager already.
It's already gone up.
We've moved up a position before we've kicked the ball.
You know, we're on 15 points. Arsenal are on 22 points. Again, it's all if buts and maybes, but we win, we still stay 4 points off top 4. If we win today, which we should be doing. Like, things are achievable. I mean, if we win today, we're only 5 points off City, which is crazy to even think, considering what we've had.
City have fell off. City are done.
Oh, yeah, but you've got to take that into consideration.
No, I'm joking.
There's a lot to play for, and as much as we want to see a style of play, as much as we want to see things change, we want to see good football, absolutely. We need to think about results as well, and we do need to win today. And
yeah, 100%.
He'll know that. Amorim will know that, and he's spoken very well, saying, of course we need time, but he doesn't expect to be guaranteed time. He knows he needs to win because it's Manchester United. He gets it. It feels like he gets it. Yeah. Players to watch, everyone. Ricky, you went with Mason Mount.
Not playing.
Who's not playing.
I'll change it.
Go on.
Eriksen. Or, can I change it again? Because of the role that he's playing, I've got to say Garnacho, actually. I've seen Eriksen play often enough in that role that he's playing. Yeah. I've not seen Garnacho playing this role. He's the one to watch, Garnacho.
I think that is such a good shout from you, because I think the majority of the fan base didn't expect him to start, and he's starting in a different sort of role. He's young, he's our top scorer, it's a big game for him, and could be a fresh start as well in playing in a different sort of way. So, Mordzs, who's yours? What did you have?
So, I had two. One of them was Mount as well, not playing. To be fair, now that I know the starting lineup, there's a few players that I really want to watch. I want to see Mazraoui. That's one player.
That position, yeah.
But the player that I actually said was Rashford, because he's going to be our main man down the middle. And like I said, I've never really seen him play as a 9 of a consistent run of games very well. I've not seen it. So Amorim must have seen something that he has faith in. So I want to see what that is. I want to see what that looks like today. So Rashford's going to be the player that I'm watching. But like I said, even Ahmad, I want to see what Ahmad looks like as a right wing back. Like I said, Mazraoui, I want to see what he looks like. Eriksen, Garnacho, there's a few players today which I'm going to be looking at everyone, let's be honest. What about yours?
Mine is Bruno Fernandes.
Always is, Beth.
It's not always. Not always. The reason it's Bruno Fernandes is because he's come to life again his last few games. I know Rude kind of, had that influence over him and got the best out of him. Let's be honest, he's had a poor season, and even last season was a poor season by his standards. But he's come to life again in the last few games. I think he could really flourish in this system under Ruben Amorim. And, he's still captain, which you would expect. He's starting the game, obviously. And I just think when Bruno is firing and at his best, it makes us so much better, because he is the heartbeat of the team, in my opinion. So
when did that happen?
Right, Ricky, just let me speak. So I want to see if Ruben Amorim can get the best out of Bruno. Then Bruno, that we all know can be such an important player for Manchester United. So let's see what he can do there. I know Ricky will disagree with me, but that's my player to watch, Bruno Fernandes, because we want to see him firing. So let's see.
Yeah.
Also, apparently Sky has Casemiro as a centre-back. That's not what we're hearing. So the way we've got it on screen is how we're hearing it, everyone.
Wait, what? So who would be in midfield then?
Exactly, I don't know. I'm not even bothering to go and look at it.
If Sky have got Casemiro as a centre-back, they've obviously still got De Ligt and Evans as centre-backs. They're not going to be anywhere else.
That means
that means Mazraoui would be right back, right wing back. Dalot would be left wing back, and then
Ahmad would go into midfield, or Bruno would drop back into midfield, and Ahmad would go in behind Rashford.
I can't see that.
I can't see it.
Too many changes.
Yeah. So I don't believe that. The way we've got it is, I think, the way it's going to be, everyone. So trust us. Trust the United stand. Trust us. Nazaruddin Shah says, I can see Ahmad and Garnacho swapping positions from time to time, depending on the game situation.
It will happen occasionally. Naturally, when you're playing a game of football, the ball springs loose somewhere when you're the nearest man and you've got a goal. All different things happen in football, and sometimes let's be honest. Sometimes you see a centre back running up the left wing and try to cross it, don't you?
I've seen Maguire do that
sometimes the ball just, the way the game goes, it just takes you there. So if Garnacho chases a ball out to the wing and then suddenly it goes back that way, he's going to have to chase him back, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And as well, because let's be honest, United have played very How can I describe it? It's not even free flowing. It's more like anyone can do what they want. That's kind of how I see it so far. Like, like players like Garnacho, Rashford, Bruno, all these guys have kind of had a lot of freedom in this team, and there hasn't been a disciplined style of play that United or Ten Hag, I should say, has been playing. Ruben seems like he wants discipline throughout the whole pitch. I don't want to see people going out of position. I don't want to see players just taking over, trying to take over.
I don't want to see Bruno chasing the goalie.
Yeah, I don't. He doesn't.
Do you?
No.
He
needs to be positionally
He wants to see a
disciplined.
lot of discipline. The reason why I'm saying that is, let's say, like you said, a Garnacho does end up out wide. That just means that Ahmad's just going to have to do the role that Garnacho would have had to do, if that makes sense. So if the role that Garnacho was doing was to run in this particular direction, or to face the ball when the ball's here, or to stand in this position, then that's all he's going to do. We're not going to see anything wild. I think everyone's going to have to be super like on point with this is the goal, this is exactly what we have to do. You mentioned it earlier in the show about Ruben saying, or was it Gary Neville saying about like when you've got the ball, everyone else has to know what the next step is.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what City do pretty much. And I know City playing bad now, but that's what City are known for doing. When Bernardo Silva gets a ball, or when De Bruyne gets a ball, every single person knows what the next step is. Everyone knows where to run. They know where the ball's going to go. Haaland knows exactly what position to stand in, because he knows that the ball's going to end up here in the next 3 or 4 passes. It's all about discipline. So that's what we're going to see more of today. And it's just about which players can really, like I said before, adapt to doing that, because they're so used to being like their own player, doing their own thing.
I agree with you, and Ruben Amorim touched on it, didn't he, in his interview, saying that the main objective is when we lose the ball, everybody runs back. And that's not always been happening for Manchester United. And like you say, that's how the top teams do it. Everybody knows the next step, and I think that is super important. It's probably going to be hard to put that into place straight away, but we hope to see it as much as we can in today's game against Ipswich. I'm now being told that apparently Sky have it as Dallo as the centre-back and Casemiro in the midfield, but I'm just going to go off what we've got, and that's that. But thank you everyone for all of your comments to try and help me out.
People on Sky can't work it out, can't they, obviously?
They probably like us, just sat there trying to figure
Sam
it out.
Brock says he had to play Casemiro after the USA criticism. I don't think that's why he's played him, but thank you for your super chat in there. We have Stuart Doughty saying, problem with discipline in a role is not allowing freedom to express and take a chance. Van Gaal tried to implement discipline within a role and position, and fans, players and pundits hated it.
You can have discipline, and look, I've seen De Bruyne score goals from outside the box so many times, and he plays for the most disciplined team. I've seen Saka do the same thing, I've seen Odegaard do the same thing, I've seen Foden do the same thing. Discipline doesn't mean you can't express yourself. You know, you see Doku expressing himself every game. Savino does the same thing. It's not discipline just means that you're just following instructions, but in those instructions you have the ability to kind of use your ability and your talent to kind of create something. So yeah, I don't think there's any problem with them players being able to do something like spectacular. It's just for the majority of the game, follow these rules and we should win.
Exactly.
Well said. Over 20,000 people in the room. Please hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you everybody for watching. Everyone is eagerly waiting for Ruben Amorim's first game as Manchester United manager to kick off, and we can't wait for it as well. Goalbridge will be live on the watch along in 16 minutes, 4 o'clock. He's live on the watch along to take you through the game. Just a quick update from the Southampton game as well. Liverpool have just got a penalty.
Right, ooh.
So we could go 3-2 up here with the penalty.
Who's the referee for that game?
Salah has just scored the penalty, and they've gone 3-2 up. Who's the referee? I'd have to go and have a look.
Refereeing this season's been a bit crazy, so I really want to know who's refereeing that game.
Do you think that's... I know it's Southampton away and Liverpool should be winning, but do you think, they're in the 83rd minute, they get a penalty to go 3-2 up. Is that a sign of what's to come with Liverpool in terms of going for the title?
They've got City next, so...
I think City get beat Anfield against Liverpool.
I think that's going to be a difficult game. So I still have Liverpool winning the league, I'll be honest.
I think if Liverpool beat City at Anfield, I think that's them.
That's a massive gap if they beat City.
That's 6 losses in a row. Ten Hag didn't have 4 losses in a row.
They've got a game on Thursday night, haven't they? So it wouldn't be 6 in a row.
Salah is just on fire, isn't
Everyone's saying Michael Oliver VAR. That's crazy.
Do not say it. Michael Oliver on VAR. Well, that doesn't surprise me. The guy who was interfering for the De Ligt penalty at West Ham, that was never a penalty in a million years.
Yeah, that's a joke, that one.
He probably hates the fact that Liverpool are winning today because he's a City fan. So
Michael Oliver.
Yeah.
Well, he got involved on VAR. He's not a City fan. He's a Newcastle fan.
No,
I heard.
Michael Oliver's a singer.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Don't sue me. Don't sue me. But anyway, that's what's going on in that game. Let's get back to Manchester United. We've got some predictions coming in. Get your predictions in down below as well. Any more quotes from Ruben Amorim, we'll bring them to you. So we've got the United Stand prediction board up. I mean, Goldbridge has just gone absolutely crazy with it. He's gone for a 5-0 win.
I like that.
To Manchester United.
That's what I want to see, to be fair.
It's what we want to see. Whether it's going to happen, wow, that would be quite something. I mean, Solskjaer knows a little bit about five goals in your first game as manager, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I remember at Cardiff against Cardiff. That was one for the history books. Yeah, 5-1. Ricky, you've gone with a 2-0 win, a little bit more reserved.
Yeah.
Thoughts behind that?
Well, obviously, you told me afterwards that Mark had gone with a 5-0. I can't see us suddenly scoring 4 or 5 goals. We've got a new manager and we've got a new team shape. I do think we will start scoring some more goals. I really do. A lot of people thought I was mad when I was saying we didn't have enough defensive players and we'll start scoring more goals. And now we've got a manager who's going to pick more defensive players, and I think that's going to lead to us dominating more territory, and then hopefully creating more chances and scoring more goals. So I do think we're going to move forward with this team shape, with this manager. But let's be honest, 2 goals for us is a lot of goals. We're averaging 1 a game. You know what I mean? We're averaging 1 a game. So even when I said 2-0, I thought, oh, he should have said 1. You know what I mean? So I just think we've got enough about us, and he'll be determined to get a clean sheet. He's working on the players getting behind the ball. He's got his back 3, which will be a back 5 if we are under a little bit of pressure. So fingers crossed. I fancy us to get a clean sheet and 2 goals. That's it.
Who do you think is going to score?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I know, but we're just doing a bit of fun.
I'll say Bruno twice, just for you, darling.
Thank you.
Not believe that.
Appreciate it. Mods, you went with. You went 3-0.
Comfortable 3-0. I mean, I hate saying this because I feel like I'm jinxing it every time. But I said before the show even started, even if it was like Rude or if it was Ten Hag, we should still be coming away with a win today. Like, it is still Ipswich. I know I shouldn't say that in it before the game, but it is still. We should still be coming away with a win. But I just think that new manager bounce is going to kick in, and whether or not these guys have fully understood the system yet, which obviously they probably haven't. It's the first game. But I just feel like the same way how Casemiro was scoring long goals, long shots for when Rude came in, and all of a sudden everyone's playing well. We scored 5 goals in 1 game. I think that could be a similar thing today. And to be fair, our last 4 games on the Rude, we have scored decent. I think we
got a few goals.
We beat Leicester 3-0.
Yeah.
We beat Leicester again 5-2. We beat somebody else, I can't remember, and we drew to Chelsea. So we have been scoring some goals in the past 4 games. So it's not like we're run out dry of goals. We can get a few goals in. So I think 3-0. That's my confident prediction.
Who's scoring?
3-0. I'll give one to Bruno. You can have one. You have a penalty actually. I think Rashford probably get a goal. And the last one could just be a random one, like a delict header, something like that.
Nice.
That'll do.
Love that. I've personally gone for a 3-1. I think we'll score. The reason I said we conceded 1 is because, we're not used to this back 3 yet. Some would call it a makeshift back 3 because not everybody's fit in the centre-back department. But I think we might concede 1. And Ipswich, right, they do have one player that does put a little bit of the fear into me, Liam Delap.
He's played for City.
Liam Delap has been killing it. He's been doing very, very, very well. Yeah. So I think that's one to keep an eye on, but I still think we'll win this game. I mean, if it is, a Mazraoui or a Dalot, we've heard it is Mazraoui in that back 3, or whether it's Dalot or not, working with Delit and Evans. Liam Delap's going to fancy it a little bit, isn't he?
Well, we have had the most clean sheets in the league.
We have. Onana in my FPL.
So
absolutely killing it.
Well, better hope he gets a clean sheet.
Watching me do a howler today on the back of that.
So I think we're going to get a clean sheet just for that reason. We've just got more of a defensive stability. I feel like the one thing that we are going to do today is not concede. That's my main thing that we're going to do. Is just defensively, we just seem stronger today.
Clean sheet. He'll be absolutely desperate to get a clean sheet in his first game. He'll be desperate. Not that he can have anything to do with it once they're on the park, really, but that's the main target when they set out today, is to keep a clean sheet.
Well, the one thing you can say about Ipswich, that at Portman Road they've actually not had the best of times of it so far this season. I was looking at it and I can't actually quite remember. Let me just try and find it here. I don't think they've actually won a game at home yet so far this season.
But they only won the first game the other day.
Yeah,
so.
they've not won.
That was the first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They
Against
won at
Tottenham.
Spurs, yeah.
That's they've only won one
So
game.
you know they've only won one game and that's away. What a win it was, by the way. But you are right, Mords, in the sense I know it's Amorim's first game. I know we've got to put our best team out. Manchester United should be winning this game.
Yeah,
they should be.
100%.
But Delap is someone who does put the fear in me a little bit. He does look good when I've watched him. Kieran McKenna as well, ex-Manchester United coach.
Yeah.
He will know about some of the players. He's already spoken about how much he rates Bruno Fernandes, but he's going to try and keep him very quiet today. So he will know little things about players as well.
Was McKenna there under Mourinho? Or was it under Ollie?
No, he was under Mourinho. And
So he was there at the same time that Ruben was there?
I don't know if it overlapped,
Okay,
but I know
yeah.
he came in under the Jose Mourinho era.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
Maybe.
Steve J2K24 says, why Kokonki travelled if he isn't playing? Probably just part of the match day experience, going with the squad.
16, let him travel.
Yeah, it's, just got have options.
There could be that. Obviously, it's that to give him that bit of experience. But when you think that you've got one or two players there that are carrying knocks, they don't know us for absolute certain that Luke Shaw might not say, do you know what, or it's not. I'm feeling something. It may be that they would have needed to call him up, but they decided that everyone's okay to play or be on the bench at least.
Just a bit of breaking news. Steve Cooper's just been sacked by Leicester.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, bit of Premier League news are coming in for you there.
He's the first manager to get sacked this season.
Ten Hag.
Oh,
Do you know what's mad? In my Premier League predictions on my YouTube channel, I had Steve Cooper as first manager sacked this season, but Ten Hag beat him.
Ten
to
Hag probably Rue probably got him sacked.
Honestly. Sean says, where is Godwill Kukonki? Yeah, a lot of people asking about the 16-year-old centre-back. He's not in the squad, but he did travel, and I think that's good experience for him, and training with Ruben Amorim inside this season as well. Got a couple quotes coming in from Ruben Amorim as well before kick-off that I just want to bring you. So Ruben Amorim got asked about getting the message across to his Manchester United players, and he said, it's not difficult, and that is the key point, the time that we have to train. So I try to put the players that I have more time to train, and we will start in this way because we need to train and we need to pass the information. So I think what he's getting at there is it's not difficult when you have time on the training pitch and he can show them in training. He's not had as much time as he would like, but when he trains, that's how he can make the message clearer. That's his answer on that. Anything to take from that?
No, I spoke earlier, didn't I, about him talking about the number 10, the people in the number 10 roles, that when they get the ball, everyone needs to. I mean, if you just think about that one thing that I mentioned earlier, that'd take a lot of drumming into all the different players of what we expect to happen next and where you should go. So there's a lot of hard work to do on the training field, a lot of hard work.
He also followed that up with some of the lads, they have had just one training session. One training is not enough, so I want my players comfortable and there will be time for everybody during these sequence of games. That's a way to keep your squad happy if you're a bit disappointed you're not in the first starting 11.
One training session.
Players coming back from international break, probably Ugarte, he's one of them, he's probably had one training session. But Garnacho's probably had one training session yet, he's starting. So that's a little bit like, for some players, is a bit, Højlund, probably another one disappointed not to start, but he's come back from international break as well. But so's Eriksen. Eriksen's been playing
Half
for
the
Denmark.
players in the team have come back from international football, haven't they? It's a tough one.
So, but he has said there'll be time for everybody in the next sequence of games. So it does seem like he's going to give everyone a fair chance. But we have had our fingers burnt from Erik ten Hag saying stuff and then it not happening. So let's see with Ruben Amorim. He does seem different and I think he comes across as an honest guy. So let's see what happens in the future games. Only time will tell, won't they?
Yeah.
I'm already looking forward to Thursday night.
Already, we've not even started this one yet, Ricky. Henry T says Evans and Eriksen. Ricky must be happy.
No, over the moon with that. Over the moon.
The poll for are you happy with Ruben Amorim's first ever starting 11? 55% of you said yes. 44% have said no. Wow, it's very 50-50.
Wow.
I think we've got to wait to see it play first. But would you guys say you're happy with it?
Probably not. I'm not happy with the three attacking players, me. So I'd like to have been. I'd like to have been happy with at least one of the 3 attacking players, you know what I mean? So I'd have to say no.
So many people in the chat are saying you're moving mad, Mords, and everyone's saying you're going to get clipped for something. I don't know, what did he say?
Oh, what? Is it because of the manager being sacked?
Is he the first manager to get sacked?
Oh, I just forgot to.
Oh, yeah, it might be that.
It's an easy slip up, mate. It's an easy slip up.
Completely forgot you got. Yeah, true.
Put it this way, it didn't click with me. It was Beth that answered quickly. She went Ten Hag, and I went, oh.
I kind of tried to block Ten Hag, getting sucked up my memory. Like it's just put to the back of my mind.
Jay Pathak says, sorry if I've missed something, but where's Leacher? Jay, where have you been? Yeah. Lisandro Martinez, he's still carrying an injury that he picked up against Leicester. He'll be gutted not to be able to be in the first 11 for Ruben Amorim, because Johnny Evans might be a hard guy to get your place back from. You know, he's been playing very well. The one thing I would say is you're always going to have a chance, because obviously Johnny's not going to be able to play as many games as he probably want to in terms of fitness and recovery at his age. He's spoken openly about that. So, but Luke Shaw, that's the one. Like, Johnny Evans is obviously short-termism. I'm sorry, guys, but it's short-term. What I would say is Luke Shaw trying to get that left centre-back role. That is some competition for Lisandro Martinez, isn't it?
Luke Shaw's fantastic in that role.
If he can stay fit.
But you might have the same thing with Johnny Evans. You might find Johnny Evans and Luke Shaw are playing loads of games and swapping and changing in that role. Yeah. Martinez might find he's got a bit of a fight on his hands.
We've got 2 games every week,
there's some shocks in relation to the team.
Ali Jaber said, rude to Leicester, please, God.
I actually think the biggest shock is
could you imagine?
Not even that I don't want him to do that, but come on. I feel like whenever ex-players get Premier League jobs just out of nowhere, it doesn't always work out. Like, I just feel like sometimes it's just, I get it, like it's rude, but just giving him a Premier League job just like that is crazy. Like, there's so many managers that have worked hard to get that position. I don't think it'd be fair.
Well, anyway, guys, that's all we've got time for on today's countdown to kick off. It ended with Steve Cooper being sacked, following up from the first sacking of the season, which was Erik ten Hag. But we have the new manager in charge today. We have Ruben Amorim. His first start in 11 has raised a few eyebrows across the fan base. Get your say in the comments, of course. But I am just sitting back and I'm waiting to see it live in action. I'm so excited. I do have faith. Let's see what Ruben Amorim and the team can do today. Cannot wait to watch it. Any final words?
Just come on, United!
Come on, let's go. Mords?
Let's do hashtag Amorim Ball.
Hashtag Amorim Ball. Get that in the comments on Mark's Watch Along. Go and join him now. He's going to take you through the whole game. And in the words of Ricky, come on United. We'll be back for the fan forum, hopefully the win.